Ramakrishnaya. Om. Salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. Japa, highest penance. The moment you hear the word penance, it smacks of two things. Religion, obviously, and torture, pain. So all religions in the world have kind of recommended to its devotees some form of penances, some form of austerities. All religions. Whether you're going to fast or whether you're going to do anything, whether you're going to keep silent or you're going to do a lot of religious vows or something like that, some form of penance is an essential part in the preparatory stages of religion. It makes the body and also the mind focused. But in Sanskrit, or rather in India, it has been a very long, it's very ancient practice of what is called penances. But these are not bodily mortifications. Penances are technically called tapa. That which literally means to heat up. Fire. It is also the focused, concentrated inquiry into a particular thing. Anything that is concentrated is tapas. Okay. And the moment you see this, what is this kind of tapas? Swamiji says it literally heats up your higher nature. It makes your energies flow from the lower to the higher. The idea is all the energies that are being dissipated will kind of be contained there and rise higher. What do you mean higher? Where higher? Well, higher means on a different higher dimensions within the personality. So our personality has many dimensions. So these can be opened up through tapas, fire, the heat. As you know, when you have a kind of you can, with a lens, with a convex lens, you can integrate all the rays of the sun, make them into a pinpoint, and they can burn things, paper especially. So the concentrated, you can say, rays of the personality are kind of focused in one part. So there are various forms of penances. And like I said, people go to sometimes the very extremes. But the Bhagavad Gita is very clear. This kind of bodily mortifications is not good. So the Lord says, Karshayanta sharirastam bhuta gramama chetasa. They kind of torture the body. They don't realize that I am there within that. So this is kind of a display of some of these various forms of mortifications. Standing on one foot. Yeah. Sitting down, fire, around fire, surrounded by fire, or sitting on a bed of nails, etc. Yeah, we've seen all this, we've heard all this, all these. Is it possible? Oh, yes, it is possible. And it is doable. Any ordinary person also can do. There's nothing special. But you must understand the principle behind what they are trying to do. A person decides to stand on one leg for 12 years. Well, sits down in a kind of surrounded by fire. It's called, in the old days, it was Panchatapa, the 5 fires. Sitting. The principle is enduring pain, and that pain is helping the mind concentrate. You see, it goes a kind of a roundabout way. You are supposed to concentrate, but since concentration is extremely difficult, and in this age we are so highly distracted, our energies are dissipated, we just can't concentrate. So the usual practice was to fix some practices in such a way that it will concentrate your mind. Okay, this is the principle. Now, can we do it with japa? And yes, so practicing japa is the best form of penance. But then, if you are concentrated and do japa, then it is meaningful. Otherwise, it's meaningless. So, of all the various penances, Shankaracharya quotes an old verse in the Mahabharata, is saying, the concentration of the mind and the senses is the highest form of penance, tapas. Indriya mano buddhir ekagram paramam tapa uchyate. That's the highest form of tapas. When you can make your senses, your body, your mind and your intellect one-pointed. And the rest of the verse says that this concentration is the highest virtue. We're saying do good and do bad and all these things, these are virtues. No, the highest virtue is this, concentration. You put the whole focus into one point and sustain it for a length of time. Okay, this I think is understood. Now, the problem comes is when you are trying to do japa, okay, and you're supposed to do it in a very concentrated fashion. We can understand the mind is structurally designed to be restless. Yeah, that's the nature of the mind. There are, in the spiritual literature, called a monkey mind. The beginner's mind is the monkey mind. Okay. And the problem is you cannot even kill that darned monkey. It has to be tamed, it has to be trained. So, but for a person who starts, because the mind has a faculty of deliberation. Is it this? Is it that? It doubts. It moves around the object. So it is restless. Then the memories that are there in the subconscious mind, they are not static. It's like this static, this thing is kept here, it will stay here. No. If you put this thing in the mind, the microphone in the mind, you'll find the microphone has landed up there. And then it will come up here. That's why you get all those crazy dreams, Like you're sitting in the airplane and the elephant is sitting beside you. How did that happen? You haven't done that deliberately. No, that's the fluidity of their subconscious mind. Okay. So when you're trying to meditate, you're trying to do japa, your whole subconscious mind is involved, it's very fluid. You can't do anything about it. You try to hold image of the deity in your mind, trying to focus on it, and it moves. And it moves here and moves there, all over the place. And then when you sit down, the mind tells you, why do you do such stupid things as close your eyes. Okay? Go and do something more useful. You're wasting your time. And then you get up thinking, yeah, I'll do something useful. And then the mind will tell you, aren't you meditating? You should be meditating. Shame on you. And then you come to meditate and then try to, the mind really, I told you, you can't do that. You're useless. Get out and do something more there. That is what is happening with the mind. So that's a deliberative. And we have mentioned how the subconsciousness, it's a very dynamic area down there. We are not even aware. And that's the problem with human awareness. We make such a big thing out of awareness. We know hardly anything of our own psychology. Simple. It's vast, it's complex, yeah, it's rich. And to get a handle on that, it needs tremendous efforts. So the scriptures say, use their intellect to control the mind and the subconscious mind. Conscious mind? Yeah, that's a good thing. Because the intellect is much more stable. But then, it depends on the person also. How much practice has that person have? In today's world, you open one app and then the next moment you're opening another app. In the old days, we could take a book and sit down for a couple of hours without any problem. The intellect was trained to sit down and keep on reading and reading and reading and reading. Today's world has become very difficult. So, yoga is using that intellect, buddhi is called, in order to kind of police the mind, the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. At times, you're feeling so dull, and especially when you sit down to meditate, after a while you'll fall asleep. So your intellect also is gone. Because when you're in the state of drowsiness, there's no intelligence there. It's all darkness. Now you are faced with a big problem. With what do I do japa? Okay. Now, the idea is, from the periphery, you've got to pull in all the energies towards the center. This is what is called focus or concentration or meditation. You're focusing all the energies to a center from the periphery. You've got to literally draw it in, and it comes to that center in a kind of a swirling motion. It swirls down. Like you can see how things swirl towards the center. Or you can, when you can, in a wash basin, in a sink, and you see the water swirling down. That's the way the energies will flow towards the center. The center was supposed to be that intellect, buddhi, because that's the sentinel. But there is another, you can say, faculty of the mind. And that faculty is your sense of identity. You don't forget your identity so easily, isn't it? Except when you fall asleep or in a swoon, or you're intoxicated or something, all that. The sense of self fragments. But generally the sense of self is very stable. Oh, my mind is restless. Oh, my mind is talking to me. I'm talking back to my mind. So the self is in a way more robust than any other thing that you. But the self itself, the ego, is your enemy. Yeah, you've got to make it your friend. No point in sitting down and saying, that's my enemy, and that enemy is going to get stronger. You've got to make that enemy your friend. So that's what the Bhagavad Gita also says, that uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayat. So you have to raise yourself, you have to raise your mind by your own mind. Never let your mind drop down. For the mind is one's own friend and the mind is one's own enemy. That is clear? Okay. So the sense of the ego, that is now your greatest enemy. That has to be now made into friend. How? Through japa. What? Yes. You've got to, the problem is we try to meditate, we do meditation and this and that. Most of our attention is focused objectively, while the subject has not been made strong, it's not strengthened. How do you strengthen the self? Well, you can do it with, I'm a part of God. I'm a child of God. I'm a servant of God. Or something. You take up one form of relationship with the divine. I'm a spark of the divine. Yeah. And now through this, you start doing your japa. Okay. You don't do it with, I'm doing my own japa with my old kind of identity. I've got a stupid identity. I'm keeping on doing my japa through this stupid identity. Your japa will become weak. It won't flow in a continuous stream. So, this is important. And this has not been emphasized by many practitioners and teachers also. Use the sense of the self, create an identity, a new identity. You must, to succeed in spiritual life, you cannot be a stupid old damn fool and say, I want to realize God. It doesn't work like that. You have to first fix a relationship with God. I am a child. The attitude or the relationship with your, you can say, deity. Like Sri Ramakrishna said, first you've got to fix a kind of a relationship with the deity. What exactly you want to do. Then through that relationship, do your japa. I think this is easy. Well, I am a child of God and I'm taking that name of the God, that God now. I'm a spark of the divine, I'm taking that name now. It becomes less taxing on the body and the mind. Then all your energies will flow to that point in the center of your heart. This is the form of concentration. This can also become tapas or penance or whatever. The idea is focus. Constantly keep on hitting and hitting and hitting till the whole thing breaks. So, there are two main concepts that I've given you. The idea of tapas, the penance, that which concentrates the mind. And that concentration is important because it heats up, literally heats up your higher nature. Your higher dimensions are open because of that heat. So what actually heats up? Is it your body? In extreme cases, yes. But it is your life breath, your prana. And the prana is in the center. It's like here, the body is here and the mind is here. It ties both these things together. As the prana is kind of enlivened, concentrated, it makes changes in the body and the mind. I think that is clear. And then the mind concentrates. And as the mind concentrates, the intellect concentrates. This is what is called opening up the higher dimensions. If this is clear, then how do you do that? The instrument that you need to use is your own sense of identity, individuality, or the sense of self, or your ego. That which is an enemy now can become a friend. It will become a friend when you have established a sort of relationship with the divine. You have to. It depends on your own personality and your characteristics. What sort of relationship you want with God? Like a God is my mother or a father, or a kind of friend or a teacher, whatever. God is also, as I say, my lover. That's in the highest levels of, you can say, bhakti, when God is looked upon as a love. It's called Madhura Bhav. So, Shri Ramakrishna recommends that I'm a child of God. That's the best, purest, safest relationship. Now, through this relationship, you start doing your japa. This transforms your ego from the enemy to a friend, as well as makes your japa more effective. This is the highest penance, japa. Okay. Now, for all practical purposes that we've seen, we'll take up an exercise. Sit down straight, please. The mantra we are going to use is Jai Shri Ramakrishna. That's, we normally chant this Jai Shri Ramakrishna. If you have been initiated in any other tradition, please take that mantra and that tradition and that deity, everything. You don't have to fix it with this only. This is for just for a practice here. You can use a picture of Shri Ramakrishna, or you can use any picture that you like. Close your eyes, please. Sit down straight. Keep your neck, your head, and your body in a straight line. That's the posture that is required. Detach the tongue from touching its teeth and its palate, etc. Just leave it loose. Keep your tongue in your mouth. Focus your eyeballs right at the space just outside your lips. 2 or 3 inches away from your lips or your chin. Look at that space down there. When you focus your eyeballs on a spot, this helps in concentration. Now see that the tongue doesn't move and the eyes also do not move. Keep a half smile on your face, please. You don't have to look so tortured. Okay, and this is no torture. This is no penance, of course. Keep a pleasant look. Keep half a smile on your face, please. Become aware of your chest rising and falling with each breath. Keep your eyes fixed on that spot outside your face. Become aware of the rise and the fall of your chest. Just simple awareness. Now feel the breath in your nostrils. Don't force your breath, just become aware. Now visualize a golden, you can say, ball between your eyebrows. Visualize the deity you like in that golden ball there between your eyebrows. In this case, we mentioned it is Shri Ram Krishna. Visualize it there. Now keep on expanding that golden ball of light, and along with it, the deity also. Keep on expanding it. Slowly. Now fix the relationship with that deity. Make it like I am a spark of Sri Ramakrishna, or Buddha, or Christ, or Krishna, or Devi, whatever. I am a spark of that deity that I am visualizing. And again, keep on expanding that ball of light in which Sri Ramakrishna is there. Now repeat the mantra Jai Sri Ramakrishna softly. With the knowledge that I am a spark of that Ramakrishna. As you keep on repeating silently, don't let the tongue move. Keep on expanding that ball of light till it has filled your entire head and your neck and your shoulders and everything. Repeat Jai Shri Ramakrishna, thinking that you are part of Ramakrishna. Become aware of your breath, please, in the nostrils. We'll taper it down now. Become aware of your chest rising and falling. Move your fingers and your toes, wriggle them. And you can slowly open your eyes. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. So, I have question. I have understood consciousness, but how to overcome mind-chattering worldly thoughts? There's one way, the most simplest way. Practice. If the mind chatters, you don't chatter back at the mind. That saves half the trouble. Okay. Generally, we keep on talking. That monologue of the mind has to be a monologue only. It should not be a dialogue, not two. So, and it needs practice and practice and practice. Okay. What are your thoughts on mindful breathing meditation versus mantra meditation? What are my thoughts? It's not my thoughts, it's what the books on yoga have spoken about. So, what is mindful? Mindful is vipassana. That's an old Indian Sanskrit word, vipassana, which the Lord Buddha has taught and which he also learned from the yogis. So, if you can do your mantra mindfully, that's combining mindfulness and the mantra japa. Okay. Otherwise, you're mindful of your breath, you're mindful of your body. It's graded. You have to become mindful of your body, and then mindful of your breath, and mindful of your thoughts and the contents of your thoughts, etc., one after another. So you be mindful and do your japa. So mindful japa, that is a good combination. Sometimes when I'm chanting the mantra, my mind gets distracted with the outside noise. How can I avoid this? Keep on doing it. You see, the brain is designed to try to understand what's going around. It doesn't want to leave you in the dark because somebody might come with something to hit you. So the brain has to become aware of things. But as you keep on practicing, don't pay attention to distractions. Like now you're looking at me and I'm looking at you. Obviously, the other things which are there around you, you're not paying attention. So they don't exist for you right now. So similarly, keep on focusing on the mantra. The outside noises will become less distractive. There will come a time when as you keep on doing your japa and meditation, what will happen? You will see even sounds which are nearby as it were coming from a great distance and as it were coming through a long tunnel. Yes, even sounds nearby will appear to be coming from a great distance. That's because your organ of hearing, the brain centers connected, the energies are being focused on a different level. So at one time, you will just stop hearing everything. So Swami Shardananda, when he was writing the Great Master, it was a busy house and everybody was laughing and joking and talking loudly. Golakma said, scolding all the people there. the Swami is writing and you are all talking there loudly. Don't you have any sense? So Swami Sharadana, don't worry. I tell my ears, don't listen to anything right now. So that's a yogi. Okay. Till you come to that state, don't pay attention to outside noises. Well, what happens when you pay attention? One thing will lead to another, another. That's what the mind wants. Don't go for that. Stick to the repetition of the mantra or the meditation. Without destroying all seeds of desire, can perfect stillness in meditation be achieved? No. You have to destroy all seeds of desire till perfect stillness in meditation is achieved. Okay. Hundreds of desires. You convert all of them and push them towards God. I want to see God. When those desires have coalesced and are focused towards another direction, they become helpful in the vision of God. Okay. Is it considered japa to repeat the mantra throughout the daily task as well, focusing on the mantra? Oh yes, as you sit for meditation, you keep a stream of repetition when you're doing tasks which does not need focus. But when you're walking, you're bicycling, you're doing any other thing, you're bathing, whatever, you can repeat the mantra. So, and then when you sit down finally for meditation, that entire day's practice comes and really pushes you up to a next level. So that's a good practice. That's part of Japa Yoga. Okay. I can't seem to sit in the lotus position. This is an obstacle to awakening. Also, when I meditate, my ego is sometimes anxious. How to overcome this fear? First, you don't need to sit down in the lotus position, Padmasana. Any position sitting will, as long as your spinal cord is held in a straight line. This is the first principle. The second principle is the ego. Yeah, but then you're aware that the ego is anxious. So that itself is a great advance. Because when you're aware of your ego with its expectations, you can cut the ego down to size. Okay. So, like I said today, you fix the ego with the sense of a relationship with God. Then the ego's vagaries will all leave you. So, don't be anxious about the results of meditation. That is also one obstacle, which is also mentioned by Patanjali in his Yoga Sutras. So, have the desire to see God face to face in meditation. Don't be anxious about any other thing. If you can be anxious, I want to see God today in my meditation. So let that also be a part of your thought, and then your restlessness and anxiety all will go. To practice tapas through japa, should I concentrate on my chosen deity or in my relationship with it, or both? Both. So your relation, when you're looking at the picture of Sri Ramakrishna, look at it, oh, that's my father, or my mother, or my friend, or my, that's a whole I'm a part. Look at it like that and keep on repeating your. That's the best way you can do. So this thought that God is my father or mother, whatever, that relationship should be at the background of your japa. Okay. So next class on Saturday will be suspended because of Kali Puja and Diwali this Saturday. Okay. So we are in a holiday mood. So see you after 2 weeks, Saturday. Om, peace, peace, peace.